So in today's video, I'm going to take you through my process that I use and have used very successfully the last few years with my tomatoes. Now the key to a good organic garden is planning, is proper preparation and proper planning. In the fall, this is when I will directly add coffee grounds, eggshells, very, very finely ground up eggshells, and that type of stuff to my grow bed. These things take time to break down. Now the nice thing with the eggshells is the worms can take it in and they can actually help grind up the organic material. Now I always take a bunch of autumn leaves and I thoroughly mix them into the bed. Now this isn't to, it adds organic material and that's good, but the leaves' main purpose is a food source for all the soil life that lives in there. And that soil life is absolutely necessary in your organic garden going. Now when it comes to getting my tomato starch ready, I always use my indoor aquaponic system. I just spread a bunch of seeds out, and as I need to thin them out, I'll thin them out. If I have some bare spots like I do in this video here, I'm pulling some to fill in the voids, and I want to make sure that I have as many places for the plants as I can so that I can select the healthiest, strongest, most robust plants when it's time to plant them. Don't feel bad about thinning out weak plants. Get rid of them. Small plants, spindly plants, ones that don't look quite right, just get rid of them. They're not worth your time. Now that it's springtime, I'm going to finish prepping my beds. I've added my compost, I have added bone meal, and I added organic material, and I added organic fertilizers. I've covered everything up, and the idea there is to allow it to start breaking down so that when I put my tomatoes in, that bed is ready. So in the meantime, while that's happening, I've gone back into the aquaponics, into the indoor aquaponics, and now I'm selecting, these are those same plants from earlier, I'm now selecting some plants to go outside and get potted up. Now some of these plants are just like the other ones. I'm gonna select the strongest ones, and I'm gonna get rid of the weakest plants. All I got to do is loosen up the gravel, carefully pull on the stem as I'm loosening the gravel, and you'll get most of your roots very well intact and looking good. You're trying to prevent as little root damage as possible. Now I'm using Cedar Grove's organic booster blend garden mix. This stuff is great. I did do a video where I tested some other products alongside this. I'm only showing this one here because it actually annihilated the other products. I'm going to pull off the bottom leaves. Now this is the only time that I do this. I'm going to suspend that plant and I'm going to bury part of that stem in order to get a strong, thorough, robust root system. I'm looking for as many roots as I can possibly get at this stage. This is when I'm worried about building those deep roots up the stem. All those little hairs that you'll see on a tomato stem, all of those can be turned into roots. So these plants are going to go and sit for about 3 weeks. Now, this plant was done with the other product. It's weak, it's yellow. This is the Steer Grow product, and I was not happy with it. The root structure is just, it's weak. It's kind of brown. It's too woody. It's just not good. Look at the difference. I fertilized the same, just using my aquaponic water. These plants are the same age. It's just the difference in product. This looks fantastic. Look at that. Look at that. Look at the difference. So this other plant I'm not even going to bother with. Now this is the part that I think a lot of people get wrong. Oh, transplant shock, transplant shock. Well, the reason a lot of people get transplant shock is they're messing around with the roots, they're planting these things sideways, they're replanting stems, they're breaking up the root ball. Don't do that. You've already done all that stuff. You don't need to do it again. The plant will figure it out all on its own. All I got to do is dig a hole that's big enough for that pot. I'm going to add some fertilizer down in that hole. I'm going to mix that fertilizer up so that it isn't just sitting on straight fertilizer. I'm going to mix it all up in there. Earlier in the video, I explained that I already added bone meal. If you haven't done that, this is the time to add some bone meal down there. Mix it up thoroughly. Don't mess around with the roots and just drop it in the hole. Now, I'm working it around. I want to make sure that all the roots are covered, but I'm not worrying about breaking that thing up, doing all that. All that does is cause problems. Don't do that. You don't need to bury it all the way up to the stem again. That you already did that when you potted up the plant. Don't do that stuff. It creates more problems than it's worth. These plants will show no stress at all by the next day. They'll look absolutely perfect. These are determinate plants. They only get so big. They're a good fit for a tomato cage. Tomato cages work perfectly in this case. To reiterate, all you got to do is make a hole, put your fertilizer in there. If you haven't added bone meal, add a little bit of bone meal. Put it down in the hole. Don't mess around with the roots any more than it needs to. And when you're all done, just add a little water, water it in, and you'll find that you'll have much less transplant shock. Okay, we're about 2 weeks into this now. Plants are looking nice and healthy. They're growing well. Now this is actually a cutting from last year, and it took a bit of a beating, but it's starting to come together. It's starting to grow. It looks a little rough, but I think it's going to be fine. Beautiful green. Looking good. Some of the smaller plants are starting to green up a little bit. It was a battle, but they're finally starting to get there. And everything is looking nice and healthy now. So that's a plus. You got something out of this? Like, share, and subscribe, and have a great day.